According to NAMI-MS.org, the state of mental health in America, youth depression rates have increased from 8.5% in 2011 to 11.1% in 2014. Along with having personal experience with counseling, I have recently completed research in order to find out why more students should do counseling. I will provide you info about issues that should encourage students to get counseling, solutions to help students get counseling, and how counseling has positively impacted my life. According to Missy C. Butts and Daniel Gutierrez's article, Using Acceptance and Commitment Therapy to Reconceptualize Stress Appraisal, psychological stress is America's #1 health problem. Today's youth are overwhelmed by many factors, such as pressures from social media, increased violence in America, situations at home, and academic standards that are put on students. These stressing factors lead students to feel depression, anxiety, and substance abuse, which are things that many adults deal with. According to NPR.org's article, Mental Health in Schools, a Hidden Crisis Affecting Millions of Students, 1 in 5 children in the United States show symptoms of mental health issues. Meaning, in a class of 25 students, 5 of those students could be dealing with any combination of depression, anxiety, or substance abuse. Since mental health is so important, what is holding us back? 80% of children that show mental health issues do not receive counseling services. Because they refuse to acknowledge that their mental health is down spiraling, they continue to go to school. The problems that these children are facing influence many issues found in school, such as chronic absences, low achievement, disruptive behavior, and dropping out. On average, a high school student spends 30 hours a week at school. Because of this large amount of time spent at school, teachers should be the first to notice when a student displays symptoms of mental health issues. Implementing a mental health awareness section in teachers' required professional development could help teachers better equip teachers to spot these symptoms in students and get them into counseling. Another factor that has inhibited Mississippi students from getting counseling is the frequent budget cuts to Mississippi's Department of Mental Health. According to ProRepublica.org's article, Doing Less with Less, Mental Health Care in Mississippi, written by Sarah Smith, from 2009 to 2011, $42 million were cut from this department's budget. And in 2017, another $14 million was cut. Because of these extreme budget cuts, many students are left without having the option of getting counseling. Petitioning for money to be added back into this department's budget, and it actually happening, could help more students get the services that they need. You may ask yourself, how has counseling been effective already? To help you see the benefits about how counseling has already been influential in students' lives, I will be telling you my story with my struggle of mental health and counseling. My parents decided to put me in counseling the spring of my junior year. When school started, I was your typical high school student worried about making A's. But as the school year began to progress, my mental health declined greatly. I began to hear voices in my head that told me that I would not make the necessary grades needed to graduate high school. They told me my parents wouldn't love me because I didn't make A's. They told me I wouldn't make it in college. They told me that I was stupid and that I didn't belong in school. They told me that there was no hope. On nights before chemistry tests, I would wake up multiple times during the night, kicking thin air, unable to breathe, and would cry myself back to sleep each time. One night, I lied on my kitchen floor in a crying fit, apologizing to my parents for not being as smart as my brother, for not having A's, and for being a bad daughter because I didn't have all A's. My anxiety about school leaked over into my extracurricular activities. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm usually humming or singing a song. And music has been where I found my joy since I started voice lessons about 6 years ago. But it wasn't until I cried multiple times at a music festival and refused to sing that everyone knew something was wrong. My voice teacher had spotted my behavior, I noticed that my behavior was different. She would ask me, Claire, what's wrong? And I would just respond, I was up late studying, or it had just been a long week. And you may ask, why didn't your parents put you in counseling when they started noticing stuff before? I've always been very hard on my grades and very hard on myself for not having A's, so this was common for me. But the fact that it was 2 weeks before I sang one lyric was eye-opening to my parents. Now, 2 weeks without singing may not seem very big deal for you guys, but for a person whose life revolved around music, this was crazy. What made this experience even worse is that the simple thought of singing made me want to crawl into a corner and cry until I had no more tears. Knowing that my parents had to take an action, they quickly found me a counseling service. At first, I was not excited about going into counseling. How could sitting on a stranger's couch and telling me my problems help me? But my counselor worked with me. In my first session, she got to know me, and I got to know her. And when she felt that I was comfortable with her, we began discussing why I was there, which was because of my anxiety, which had turned into depression as well. My counselor explained why what happened at the music festival occurred and how my brain responded to it. She drew out a diagram and named each part of the diagram and explained why what happened when it happened. And this was very beneficial for me. I'm a person who wants to know why something happened, when it happened. I don't want to think about where I would be without counseling. I know I wouldn't be up here giving a speech. I know I wouldn't be continuing an honors coursework. So, I beg of you to please do counseling if you have any symptoms of mental health. You may say, I don't have time to go to a counseling office, sit down, tell some stranger my problems. Well, lucky for you. Thanks to our world's modern technology, there are now apps that allow you to choose a counselor based on your religion, preference of a male or female counselor, and other factors. These apps even allow you to call, FaceTime, or even text your counselor from the comfort of your own home. If you're looking for a more individualized approach to counseling, according to Samuel T. Gladding and Melanie Day Drake Wallace's The Potency and Power of Counseling Stories, writing about your mental health can be beneficial in many ways. It can help your behavioral, social, physical, and mental well-being. Mental health is nothing to mess around with. It's very serious. You now know factors that should encourage students to get counseling, solutions to help students get counseling, and how it has already benefited me. Allie B. Moe once said, "Nothing can torment you greater than your own thoughts." My question for you is, how will you help yourself stop the torment?